How do you recall your first meeting with Lady Panufnik?
He had just left the city of Birmingham, where he was the chief conductor and music director, and he wanted to give all his attention to composition. He didn't want any interruptions, so he went off to live in the country, and he didn't answer any letters, and he had just been composing, which was his dream. He was always looking for a quiet place to compose, but he forgot that he needed to make his living because he never thought about money. And he was running out of money, and he needed to answer some letters and invitations to conduct and possible commissions, and he also needed to write program notes for his piano concerto. I was sent to him really to be like a scribe. You know, in the Bible, there was the people who couldn't write in a certain language. I was the scribe, and this was going to be very good, but we had a wonderful first meeting. We both found it very interesting talking to each other, and I was very impressed by him. We talked for 3 hours. However, I didn't start working for him immediately because I was just going to Paris to the Sorbonne for a year, and he was just leaving for America forever. So this meeting was we just liked each other and had a lovely conversation and said goodbye. And then one whole year later, I'd come back from Paris. At that time, I simply started to work for him.
Why did you decide to give him a hand? Like when you first heard about him from Neymar?
Well, firstly, he was the most attractive man I've ever met.
So we can say that it was like a love for the first sight?
Very nearly, I would say, yes. I mean, yeah, a certain attraction. Secondly, I was mad about music, and I was intrigued to I really love music, and I wanted to help him because I realized, I knew from our mutual friend that he'd had a very difficult life, and I thought I just was intrigued by him and very charmed by him. He's a very interesting, very charming man.
When have you first heard his music?
A few weeks later, he had one little tiny CD of his Tragic Overture, and I took that home with me to play on my gramophone, as it was then. It was completely different technology.
What was the impression of this music?
Oh, I thought, this is absolutely incredible. He's not only a charming man, but he can write the most wonderful music. And I was very keen at the time on Prokofiev and Shostakovich and Eastern European music generally. But I thought, my goodness, he's as good, or he's even better than them. And so I was really knocked out when I heard his music, when I heard the Tragic Overture. I played it about 20 times until my neighbour from below came up and asked me to turn down the volume.
But do you know the background of this piece? Like,
yes, I do. Do you know the background of this piece?
Yeah, I think so.
He wrote it in 1942 at the height of the war, and Tragic Overture. It was a very tragic time in Poland, and it's very interesting because it does really sound like, I think it sounds like somebody running very fast trying to get away. It's sort of, and then there's sounds that could be bombs falling, but he didn't know he was doing that. He swore he didn't know. It was just a sort of impression of how he felt at the time. And because he never wrote program music, he never wrote music that was pictorial, really. But actually, it is very, very dramatic, and very clear that it was a time of great horror when he wrote it.